Hello, Alice and Ziggy. You're joining me live for this week's episode of Princess Interrupted, the podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about an experiment that I did back in 2023 called Quantum Leap Week, and I'm actually hosting a free challenge by the same name later in this month. I want to talk to you this week about what a quantum leap is, how you can access one for yourself, some common misconceptions people have around quantum leaping, and the ways that you can currently quantum leap in your love and your life right now. Mercury retrograde, stop playing with her. I wanted to make sure that my microphone was set up correctly. So Quantum Leap Week in 2023, I filmed a before video of myself where I was just walking around New York City. I had already accomplished all of the things that I had really wanted, and I was dating a guy. I had my multiple six-figure sales job. Hi, this is Allison, and I am filming a before video because things have not been going that great lately. Like they have been. I think it reminds me of that Billie Eilish song where she's just like, I'm sad again, where it's just this constant battle to continue feeling okay. And to me, that means that my life is out of alignment and there's something that's very much not working. I'm in pursuit of some big things and feels like I'm on the verge. But I'm just ready to not have this feel like such a battle. You know, I had the West Village apartment, like I had all of these things. But I was still walking around sad. And honestly, a lot of the reason that I was walking around sad was the situationship, but it was also just the way that I felt when I was attending meetings at work. I had once loved my job and been so grateful for it. I had all these amazing international travel opportunities. I was making more money than I had ever made in my entire life, but it just didn't feel like enough. I had just started my community, the New York City Calendar Club, still going strong, and I just launched the Philly Calendar Club. So if you're in Philly and you are interested in events, those are my two communities. I had hosted a 30-person event. I had just rolled out this event series. I was sponsored by an app, and all these things were working, but I still felt this sense of not enoughness within myself. It was like everything I had ever worked for. It was like the planner was a success, but I didn't hit the numerical metrics that I set for myself. I had this crazy launch number that I wanted to hit and I didn't even get close. And I just felt so inadequate. I knew something had to change. And there was an opportunity where I applied to go to this trip to Bali. I didn't get it, but I had just requested the week off work anyway. Just like, okay, well, if I'm manifesting it, I have to request off so that I get it. And I decided to take the week off anyway. And I was debating doing a solo trip. But financially, I just had a lot of debt and I was kind of like, I don't really want to go anywhere. The debt made me feel like worthless for a long time. I was like, oh my God, I paid all this off and now I have all this debt. I just felt bad about myself. Do you know what I mean? Like externally, everything was shining and looked great. And I had this thriving community. I was like dating this sexy millionaire, like all these things, but it was like so not what I actually knew I was capable of creating. And so basically I had all these things. I had all the external things, but I got them and they didn't feel the way that I thought they were going to look. And it was like I still had reasons in my mind to feel inadequate. I think that when you hear a lot of people talk about this, they're like, yeah, I had like the 1 million followers, but I still didn't feel good. And they don't talk about like, yeah, I was still in so much debt. So it was like no amount of money that I was making made me feel like a financial success. I just was so desperate to quit my job that I felt like I had to have this blow away planner launch in order to quit. And I was dating this guy and it was like, he was giving me enough attention to keep me interested, like saying the things that he needed to say and was like, let's go away together. It felt like things were progressing, but I was still spending most of my time like unhappy and convincing myself I was okay in my journal. It was not a healthy relationship. So it was like I had the things, but I didn't at the same time. And the way that I viewed myself was not favorable. I was viewing myself as like, I have like attachment trauma, like I'm still in anxious attachment. I haven't healed this yet. And I was looking at myself like this launch didn't generate, it didn't replace my income. I'm a failure. And I was going through the motions at work and like trying, it took all the energy I could muster to send a single email. I was just so tired because my life force wasn't contributing to what I was doing through my day job. And it was just really kind of an identity crisis to have had everything that I thought I wanted, but to have it not feel the way that I wanted it to feel. And so I took a week off work and I was like, okay, well, if I'm not going to Bali, then I want to use this week off work and I want to step into my ideal reality now. I called it Quantum Leap Week, and I was going to document every single day that I was living in New York as a full-time entrepreneur. I did a little ceremony, I got a little candle, I got a little crystal, and I was like, I'm going to live every day of this week as if I am already in my ideal reality where I am working for myself as a full-time entrepreneur. I went to the museum and I can show you like the little reels of what I had created. But for the most part, I was just exhausted and I just like slept, and I was surprised at like how much taking a week off really wasn't as expansive as I believed that it would have been. I did the things and had the experiences and I took the time off work, but I was still just kind of going through the motions a little bit, so to speak. It wasn't like what I'm creating through the Quantum Leap Week Challenge, but this was what inspired the transformation. I'm going through the motions. I don't want to go back to work. Like the guy that I'm dating, like we're supposed to go on a trip that weekend. And he was kind of being a little bit distant, where he's like, I'm going to call you. Communication was bad. I have a cat. And so I was like, okay, well, I need a pet sitter. Like, what are we doing this weekend? And he just like kept being dodgy. And then by the end of the week, he was like ghosting me, and we were supposed to go away. I had not gone to Rhode Island, which had been something that I was planning to do. My cousin had invited me to her beach house and I had not gone to it. All these plans I put on hold for this man because he had said, let's go on this trip. I'm going through that. My sister like destroys her knee, like she tears it. I end up having to go to Philly, which works out because I had the pet sitter. So I was like, okay, I'm going to Philly. I go to Philly. I'm with my sister. I'm like there for her. And I'm like happy I'm able to be there for her, whatever. And then I go home and there's a call on my calendar from my manager and it's with HR. And I'm like, oh my God, am I about to get fired? I had all these emotions going through me. I literally made a get ready with me to get fired video. I didn't record it or anything because it's kind of like, I don't know. I still was a little bit less reserved than I am like right now. Oh my God, this is terrible. I go on the meeting. I get fired and I'm just like sitting there, and I was so mad because the last meeting that I had before I went on Quantum Leap Week, like I had set a boundary with my boss. I thought things were fine. I went away for a week. Like I just basically said, we have the same goals, the same objectives here. Like the way that you're going about this right now is not effective. So we need to shift something here. And yeah, then I got fired, which I think that was kind of in direct response to standing up to my manager. That was like pretty humbling. I was like, this man doesn't deserve to hear me speak another word. So in the meeting, I was just like, and during my exit interview, I laid it all out, and the HR was like flabbergasted at what I had been experiencing within the company. Now, what's most important about this story and why I'm telling this to you is not a step-by-step of what to do and how to quantum leap. Taking a week off work and pretending to live your life as if you're like already in your dream reality. There's a lot of value to that, but that's not really what's going to get you to your next level. What's going to get you into the next level, and this is where you really want to pay attention, is embodying and acknowledging the energy of what you're creating in the form of which it already exists. Embodying and acknowledging the energy in the form in which it already exists. So let's say you're calling in love. This isn't focusing on the loser who barely calls you back. This is recognizing the friends who are there for you, who will talk to you on the phone all morning before you get fired and will talk to you all day after. This is the people who need you when they're going through something difficult, and only you can help them and can help them make you feel better. This is standing up for yourself and getting removed from a situation where you're not being valued, and trusting yourself enough to follow through on your desires. So those are like the key parts that I want to really allude to. Is when I was going through this, I think that I viewed myself as being closer to the life that I wanted because I had the things, like I had the job that paid the money that I wanted. I had the relationship on paper with the person that I wanted, but that wasn't actually where the things that I wanted in my life existed. What I wanted was the community that I was starting to grow, that was growing without me having to even really do much about it, because people loved the idea and people were really seeing value. And the way that I could just post about a journal party and people would come meet up in the park and we would journal and plan together, and the feedback that I received. And it would be like, the love would be like the friends who were willing to help me create that, and the friends who were there beside me. It was really shifting the focus, because I was focused on the shadow lack perspective. And this is, I'm not saying this to beat myself up. That was a level of consciousness that I was at, and I think everything happens for a reason, and I'm able to view this through this perspective now because of all the healing that I've done. I used to have the misconception too that like if I was healed enough or I knew how to date well enough that I could get him to like me. And it's like, no, you like yourself enough to not want to be around somebody like that. That's the difference. Like, you don't want to be around somebody you have to convince, or like somebody who you have to chase down, or like love that feels like effort. It's the friends who would do anything for you. And 2 years later, I believe my life is vastly different as a result of this experiment and as a result of following my heart and doing the things that I really wanted to do. There's still challenges associated with this path. Like when you go from a successful career in tech to building your own brand, there are challenges. And I don't want to say that in terms of like it has to be hard, but it's given me a lot of permission for it to be okay, that it's taken time to create and that it's taken time to unfold. And I'm not a loser because it's not been an overnight success, but I've really had to train my brain to start to see the ways that this matters. I screenshot every single comment of somebody saying that this work has helped them and changed their lives, because I need to actually receive that and acknowledge that versus like overlooking at the next big thing. Our brains are just perceived for lack when we're like growth minded. Like this doesn't mean you're a bad person. It probably means you're actually like pretty ambitious and you have some pretty big things that you're looking to do. But you really quantum leap by realizing the ways that you're already experiencing your dream reality in the present moment. You can build evidence for yourself and start making literally a list in your journal or your phone and just write down like things that are working, because what you look for and where you pay your conscious attention to expands and grows. This is based on neuroscience. It's the reticular activation system, the RAS. Basically, if you're looking for a blue car, you're going to see blue cars because that's what your brain is filtered to perceive. Your brain deletes, distorts, and generalizes. So whenever you start to look for these things in your physical reality, you're going to start to see more examples of them popping up more prevalently. That is how you really quantum leap. Now, the second thing about quantum leaping that I didn't realize is like all possibilities exist within a given moment. The mistake that I made when I used to perceive this is that, so it's like, okay, any timeline exists. But let's say that there's a problem in your life. Like, let's say that you have debt and you're like, okay, well, there's a reality where I don't have that. That's like bypassing and ignoring your problems. And you're not going to solve your problems by pretending that they don't exist. You solve your problems by like radically accepting where you're at, and not accepting with the intention of staying there forever, but loving yourself regardless. Not over-identifying with the problems or the struggles of what you're currently facing is the only way that they can start to shift. There was something that happens, and I'm not ready to like open up exactly about like what it was yet. I will when the time is right, but like something had happened. And I tried to avoid telling my friend about it because I didn't want to complain. I wanted to just be able to take care of it myself. And this was how I always operated from the time I was a child. And I just wanted to like make it go away. I didn't want it to be a problem. I didn't want to have to tell my friend. And so I took like an action to kind of like cover it up. And would you know, the action backfired. And so it got to a place where I was just so emotionally numb where I was like, I had no choice but to like open up to this person. And I kid you not, she looked me in the eyes and she just goes, is that it? This thing that I was like, so like, I don't want to tell you, like, I'm shameful, like, you're going to judge me. Like, she just like looked me in the eyes and was just like, that I thought you were going to tell me something serious. And it was so validating because of how much energy and time I had spent hiding and pretending. When you're manifesting and you just want to like pretend everything's fine and like it's working and it's great, and to just be received and to just open up and just be like, no, this has been something challenging I've been facing. And that is love, is to let people in those moments. And the quantum leap isn't about like leaping over your problems and making them not exist anymore. It's about loving yourself. And when you love yourself, that's when you become a magnet to miracles. You don't become a magnet of miracles because you're avoiding your reality so much that it no longer exists. That's literally not the case. Through this experience, I was able to open up and I was able to be received and loved to such a degree that it made me love myself, to such a degree that I sold more planners in 24 hours than I had even sold in like my previous launches without even trying. And that's the quantum leap, is when you attune to the frequency of the version of yourself who already has it. The version of yourself who already has it has already integrated the challenges that you're currently facing and already loves themselves and isn't shaming themselves. Because the story of what you're currently facing is going to help so many people, and it's going to be one of the most empowering chapters of your entire life when you're on the other side of it. I used to use manifestation as a crutch to solve all my problems, and I definitely was subject to a little bit of magical thinking and thinking if I looked at it a certain way, it would fix it. Tried to be top of the manifestation class, held myself to such a high standard. But it wasn't until I really broke down and really faced what wasn't working with such radical honesty and radical self-acceptance that I was able to attune to the frequency of the version of myself who had done it. I just want to speak directly. I can feel whoever is listening to this right now really needs to hear this message. You are not less than because of your circumstances. You're not a failure because things haven't gone the way that you've wanted them to go yet. You haven't done anything wrong. And judging yourself isn't going to get you to where you want to go. And I just want you to know that it's not just going to be okay. It is going to be an empowered story that's going to help so many people. And you're going through this because you have the power to get to the other side of this. But it's not even about the things that you think are going to make you feel better. It's about letting yourself feel better in the present moment. And I know that I'm speaking to high achievers, and I'm speaking to people who really are go-getters and have big dreams and things that they're creating. And it's you don't just want okay, you want things to be great, and you get to have all of that. You really, truly do. And it all comes down to the present moment. This challenge for Quantum Leap Week, that's what we're going to be doing, is really giving you the tools to connect to this inevitable future reality in the present by giving you access to those parts of yourself currently, regardless on what's happening externally. The external is the least important part of your success. Anything can change in a moment. And this isn't about having hope and hoping things change and hoping they work out, because that's giving your power away. Everything starts from you, but it's giving you what you need to feel like you are worthy enough in the present moment to make the things happen that you want to happen. And also letting things be okay exactly as they are. The version of myself that I am today, I was still her back in 2023. It was just I was so overcome with the areas of my life that weren't working that was so much bigger of what was going on externally for me than what was working. And because of these shifts that I've made, because I've dedicated my life to this work, because of honestly going through hell and back and still loving myself, that's what made me a match for the reality that I've been creating. The transformation honestly goes from this feeling of it's not working and feeling like it's not enough and feeling like you need to do more and feeling like you need to post a video every single day so that you're successful and feeling like you need to go crazy swiping on Hinge so that he'll like you, or you need to journal away and tap away all these sensations so that you can finally be a match for love. And it's finally just loving yourself and loving your life and being a light and a magnet where things are just easy. Because there is a reality available for that too. But if you're so focused on the ways that it's not working, and I'm not saying you're doing this because you're doing something wrong, I'm saying this because this is the way that your brain is currently wired, which is how most humans' brains are normally wired unless you choose to do the work. You're going to stay stuck in that loop, and even if you get the things that you're manifesting, it's not going to be enough. 2 years ago, I had that event, and I had 28 registered. That was an incredible experience, and it was such an amazing event, and people loved it, but all I could focus on was that I didn't sell the amount of planners that I had bought, and it was a financial loss. If I had an experience like that today, I would just be so unbelievably grateful. I go to a planner party with 3 people. I'm so grateful, and it was the best event of my life because I believe that, because all that exists is the now, and you move forward with what you're presented with. The other thing that I used to do, I think somebody can relate to this too, is I used to just over give and over deliver, but like at the detriment to self. I would do these like big events and stuff, but it was like I would be spending so much money to make it absolutely perfect when I was like already in debt. It wasn't because I was like irresponsible. It was just like because I wanted it to be perfect, because I thought that if it was perfect, then that meant that this would work. But that was never the answer. And like when I did my most recent event in New York City, I just made my life so much easier. I used to just overcomplicate things to such a degree that it really like negatively impacted myself. When I did my event in New York City, like I just made it easier in a way that was even more effective because everything that I did had so much more potency. It's not about doing more or doing the most. It's about taking the most aligned actions for you and meeting yourself where you're currently at. That's also how you quantum leap. It's radical honesty in the moments that you're like embarrassed, where you're just like admitting things to people, where you're like, I can't do this. And they're like, thank you for telling me. Because intimacy is to be loved, and to be loved is to be fully seen. And you need to open up to the people around you about the things that you're struggling with. Otherwise, you're never going to gain confidence in them. You're going to hide this, and this can be something that keeps you stuck for the rest of your life. And I don't want that for you. The main areas that I really help clients are purpose and relationships. And I mean, time. That's why this planner, I am so excited for the launch of the fall winter planner. If you sign up for Quantum Leap Week VIP, you get a free copy. But you can also just purchase a planner and you'll be enrolled in the Quantum Leap Week Challenge, which is 7 days, and we start later this month. Thank you so much for listening to this. I love you. I hope that this helps you. I hope this gives perspective and paints some backstory on like the idea behind quantum leaping and like where the Quantum Leap Week origin story came from. In terms of like logistics for the challenge and what you can expect, we're going to be doing a lot of subconscious rewiring. We're going to be doing a lot of embodiment work. Daily dance parties are an absolute necessity. And we're just going to be kind of embodying our dream lives the way that I wish that I would have had access to when I did a Quantum Leap Week. So we're going to be doing the same thing where we're designating a specific designated amount of time to the Quantum Leap. But instead of just doing it without the tools, I'm going to give you every single thing that you need to make this week the catalyst to step into your dream life now. I love you so much, and this could take years if you try to do it on your own. Just come hang out with me. We have so much fun. We have a lot of fun on Instagram too, so make sure you come hang with us. I'll include all the links in the show notes. I love you. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, follow, do all the things, and send me a message if this really resonates and helps you, just because it helps me understand what's landing for you, what's helping you, what's keeping you going, what you need support with. I've been studying this extensively for the last 6 years. So if there's anything that I can do, I would love to support you and help you. So I love you so much. Thank you for being here. Thanks for joining me for this week's episode of Princess Interrupted, the podcast. I love you.